think dating men in general is a challenge, regardless of what their profession is.
Yeah.
Especially if they're a man of influence or affluence, like they have money themselves.
What also women without power. I feel like it's hard for me to like date another man with power because they kind of know like I'm not going for your BS.
Yes.
Like
Absolutely.
you know I'm not going for the stuff that other women may be okay with.
You know what I mean? Like I just don't think that. I think they would be intimidated by you, number one, but two, like I don't see that you would be attracted to that type of man. So it works both ways.
Ever wonder how to win a fight without throwing a punch? Caitlin Clark just showed us all how it's done. She didn't clap back at Angel Reese's trash talk. She didn't fire off angry tweets. Nope, she did something way more powerful. Clark let Taylor Swift be her secret weapon. One little like from T-Swift, and suddenly Clark's got an army of Swifties backing her up.
The biggest thing I can do with the platform that I have, and that's the same thing Taylor did, and I think continue to educate yourself with the candidates that we have, the policies that they're supporting. I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, I grew up as a kid, obviously, from the state of Iowa, so like you go to the pumpkin patch, you go do those type of things in the fall. Corn mazes are a lot more difficult than people probably think.
Meanwhile, Reese is out here trying to stir up drama with Travis Kelce's ex, and it's backfiring big time. Want to know how Clark pulled off this silent masterclass? Stick around. You know what's insane? This whole drama kicked off with a single moment. Picture this. It's the 2023 NCAA Championship, and Caitlin Clark is on fire. She's sinking threes, dishing out assists, and making the court her playground. The crowd's going wild, and Clark's energy is through the roof. She's not just playing basketball, she's putting on a show. But then Angel Reese steps in, and suddenly, it's not just about basketball anymore. Reese isn't content with just playing ball, she's playing mind games. As Clark celebrates another incredible play, Reese decides to turn up the heat. She starts mimicking Clark's "you can't see me" gesture right in her face. The crowd's reaction is electric. Some are loving it, others are shocked. It's like watching a WWE match break out in the middle of a basketball game. Here's the kicker though, Clark never even meant to taunt Reese. That "you can't see me" move, it was just Clark hyping up her own team.
She's the first rookie to win WNBA Player of the Month since the award's inception in 2010, and last night it was no exception. They were sky high for Caitlin Clark and the Fever, but to start the season, they had a little bit of a rough go of it. They lost their first 5 games. They ended up 1-8 through their first 9 games, and during that first month, the playoffs, they didn't feel realistic at all. Indy entered the Olympic break 11-15 on the year, and then they really turned it around. They've won 7 of their 8 since. They clinched a playoff berth for the first time since 2016, which, by the way, was the last year of Hall of Famer and franchise icon Tamika Catchings.
But Reese, she took it personal, real personal, and she didn't stop there. Nah, this was just the beginning of her campaign to get under Clark's skin. That moment wasn't just trash talk. It was like throwing a match into a pool of gasoline. Suddenly, this rivalry went from friendly competition to all-out war. Every move, every word, every social media post became ammunition. Clark and Reese weren't just battling on the court anymore, they were fighting for respect, for dominance, for the title of the best in the game. And you know what's wild? This wasn't even close to the craziest part, because while Reese thought she was winning the psychological game, she had no idea what was coming next. She didn't realize that sometimes the loudest statement is the one you don't make at all. Silent power moves? Clark had that down. But what if I told you her biggest play wasn't even on the court? One tweet. That's all it took to unleash an army of unexpected supporters who'd change the game entirely. Imagine scrolling through Twitter, minding your own business, when suddenly your feed explodes with Taylor Swift fans talking, "Basketball?" Yeah, you heard that right. Swifties, the pop star's devoted fan base, were suddenly all over the Clark-Reese rivalry. But how did we get here? It all started with one innocent tweet from Caitlin Clark. She simply welcomed Taylor Swift to the Chiefs' kingdom, and boom, just like that, the Swifties found their new favorite athlete. They weren't just cheering for Taylor anymore. Nope, they were Team Caitlin all the way. Now here's where things get wild. Clark's not saying a word about all this drama, but her new army of fans, they're making some serious noise. We're talking hashtags, memes, the whole 9 yards. Dar Swifties for Caitlin, and Caitlin is queen, started trending faster than you can say, shake it off. And poor Angel Reese? She thought she was just dealing with basketball fans. Now she's got millions of Swifties coming at her. It's like she walked onto the court and found out the entire stadium was suddenly on Clark's side. Talk about a game changer. This isn't just about hoops anymore. This rivalry just went full-on pop culture. We're seeing sports and music collide in a way that's never happened before. It's like the Super Bowl halftime show decided to crash March Madness. But you know what's the craziest part of all this? Clark didn't have to lift a finger. She let her game do the talking on the court, and her fans do the talking off it.
You knew they were going to come for you. You had to know that. Now, to the degree that they're doing so, I get where you're coming from. I get where you're coming from. You had a decisive advantage because they made the mistake of letting you know who they are, whoever those people are. That's not the case with all. It's not the case with most. But those who screech the loudest get the most attention sometimes. And that's what the worst of cynics and critics do.
It's like she unlocked some secret level of fame where you don't even have to try to go viral. It just happens. While Clark was riding the wave of effortless fame, Reese thought she'd make some waves of her own, but her attempt at a splash turned into a tsunami. How did one podcast episode ignite a fan war that nobody saw coming? Let's talk about the podcast that took this whole thing to another level. Angel Reese decides to start her own show, Unapologetically Angel. Sounds pretty normal for a rising star athlete, right? But then she drops a bombshell. Her guest is none other than Kayla Nicole, Travis Kelce's ex-girlfriend. And just like that, things got real messy, real fast. Now picture this. Reese and Kayla are chatting away, probably thinking they're just having a casual conversation. But little did they know, they were walking straight into a hornet's nest.
Something that I had to learn early on was like, your relationship could be over tomorrow.
Yeah.
And what do you have? Like, you have no leg to stand on, you have no home to go back to, you have no career to fall back on. But from that point moving forward, it was like, I don't care who I date, I don't care where they are, I'm gonna always have my own place.
Yeah.
I'm gonna always have my own car. I'm gonna always focus on my career, support theirs, but really prioritize my own goals. Because I think behind closed doors, the hardest part about a breakup is just losing like a partner and a best friend and this person that you talk to every single day. You go from speaking every day to having to really like cut ties. Yeah.
The moment that episode hit the internet, it was like someone lit a match in a fireworks factory. Boom! Swifties exploded all over social media. You know what's wild? These Taylor Swift fans weren't just defending their queen. They turned Reese's own taunts into a weapon against her. Remember that "you can't see me" gesture? Well, now it was plastered all over memes, but with a twist. Swifties were using it to show how invisible Reese was compared to Clark. Talk about a backfire. The internet was on fire. Hashtags like "Dar Swifties for Caitlyn" and "Caitlyn is Queen" were trending faster than you could say "shake it off."
She has lived up to expectations, right? I'm looking at her the way I look at LeBron James, right? For us, just in the women's side of things, and the hype that she had, the expectations she had.
Let's start with the rookie, Caitlin Clark-Kent. Superwoman, you see what I did there? She was on a tear, and last night was no different. Wings, fever. Caitlin Clark set to go as she broke the single-season assist record.
She's been playing like a top 5 player in the league. She's been regularly dishing out double-digit assists in that time frame. Teams can no longer blitz her and trap her.
Reese thought she was stirring the pot, but she didn't realize she was cooking up a storm that would swallow her whole. It's like she walked onto the court and found out the entire stadium had suddenly switched sides. One podcast episode. That's all it took to turn this sports rivalry into a full-blown fan war. We're not just talking about basketball anymore. This is pop culture meets sports, meets celebrity drama, all rolled into one explosive package. It's like March Madness collided with the Grammy Awards, and nobody knew what hit them. But here's the kicker. While all this chaos is swirling around, where's Caitlin Clark? She's quiet, dead quiet. No tweets, no clapbacks, no nothing. It's like she's watching the whole thing unfold from a distance, probably thinking, I didn't even have to lift a finger. You'd think staying silent in the face of drama would make you fade into the background. But for Caitlin Clark, it's doing the exact opposite. How is her refusal to engage turning into the most powerful statement of all? Picture this. The whole basketball world is buzzing, waiting for Clark to say something, anything. But Clark, she's not playing that game. She's too busy playing actual basketball, and boy, is she playing it well. While everyone's eyes are on social media, Clark's eyes are on the prize. You want to know what's insane? While Reese is out here trying to stir up drama with podcasts and trash talk, Clark is breaking records left and right. She's not just good, she's historically good.
Charles Barkley talking about the Caitlin Clark phenomenon and the people he blames for blowing this whole Caitlin Clark deal?
People believe what we say on television. Just because people don't like you or your personality, they can't get on TV and slander you. It's just total bullshit. These ladies, and I'm a WNBA fan, they cannot have this Caitlin Clark thing up any worse if they try. What is going on here? And the thing I love about her, she never says a word. But these ladies, who I love and respect their game, they couldn't have this thing up.
Clark's racking up the most points and assists double-doubles in a season. That's not just impressive, that's changing the game. Imagine stepping onto the court with all this noise around you. The pressure would be enough to make anyone crack. But Clark, she's out there dropping 26 points and dishing out 12 assists like it's just another day at the office. It's like she's in her own bubble, and all the drama can't touch her. Now, you might be thinking, isn't staying silent just letting Reese win? Nah, it's the opposite. Clark's silence isn't weakness. It's her secret weapon. It's like she's playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. She's letting her game do all the talking, and trust me, it's speaking volumes. But here's where it gets really wild. Clark's fans and the Swifties, they're not staying quiet. They're out there fighting her battles, creating memes, trending hashtags. It's like Clark's got her own personal army, and she didn't even have to ask for it. She just keeps balling, and they keep bringing the noise. You know what's crazy? This whole situation is like a masterclass in how to handle pressure. Clark's showing us all that sometimes. The best response is no response at all. She's not just winning games, she's winning the war of public opinion. And she's doing it all without saying a word.
If Caitlin Clark somehow wins the WNBA championship this year, she will have put together the greatest rookie season in the history of professional sport. Include Caitlin Clark in the conversation, as I like to do, but we're also going to bring the NFL, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Caitlin Clark, Deion Sanders, all in the same boat with historical perspective and knowledge. And more than anything, I'm gonna blast the media.
You know what's wild? This rivalry between Clark and Reese isn't just about basketball anymore. It's a whole new game of how to handle fame, pressure, and millions of eyes watching your every move. And Clark, she's winning without even trying. Imagine this, Clark's fans and Swifties joining forces. It's like combining the Avengers with the Justice League. They're out there creating memes, trending hashtags, and defending Clark 24/7. It's an unstoppable army that Clark never asked for, but got anyway. So what's next for these two? Their upcoming WNBA matchups are going to be insane. The whole world's going to be watching, waiting to see if Reese can handle the heat or if Clark's silent game keeps winning. This rivalry, it's just getting started.